This morning, we're spotlighting the outrage over a sentence of a former college professor in the bizarre death of her husband. Last week, an Iowa judge sentenced Gowun Park to 10 years in prison after she pleaded to voluntary manslaughter, third-degree kidnapping, and domestic abuse. So we know prosecutors wanted her sentences to run consecutively, making it a total of 25 years behind bars. That's what they were wanting. But the judge went the other direction. 10 years on this one. Was that the right call? This woman claims she was the victim of abuse. Let's bring in our guest who has experience with sex abuse crimes. She's a former prosecuting attorney, Attorney Andrea Lewis, on the show with us this morning. Andrea, good morning to you. Your thoughts on what the judge did here?
You know, this is a very surprising sentence. Anytime you have something that is the evidence that's this clear, here there's really no question who did it. She provided a variety of different explanations, none of which were plausible. She was the only person in the home. She clearly had access to him, and you see his injuries, the ligature marks. It's pretty clear what happened here. That's in addition to her ever-changing story. So you've got a very strong case, and then you have this woman who killed her husband of many years. That's worthy of a very long sentence. So why did the judge do what he did? He seemed to rely heavily on her allegations of past abuse. You know, unfortunately, it seems in this case, given the weight of that evidence, was discretionary with the judge. And, you know, he really went rather light on it. Certainly, that is something that he has the right to take into consideration. He weighs the facts. He weighs those past allegations of abuse. And if they rise to the level that he feels that a 10-year sentence is worthy, that's what we end up with.
Exactly, Andrea. Whether her experiences as a survivor of domestic violence provide some mitigation in this case. Apparently, His Honor found so. I have a clip of Gowun Park talking about the remorse and the regret she has. Let's take a listen to that together now.
My future has never been more uncertain. I say this not to ask you for pity or to define myself only as a victim. I carry sincere grief, remorse, and regret for my husband's death. I did not want to hurt him. I loved him.
This case is complicated, to say the least. Andrea, we know that Gowun Park also told police that her husband had given her permission to tie him up whenever he became violent. As someone who served as a prosecuting attorney and handled cases like this, do you find what she's saying there to police to be believable?
No, I don't find any of this to be believable. You have so many options. And listen, I am extremely sympathetic to women who are survivors of domestic violence. I represent them frequently in various cases. I represented the state against their abusers as a prosecutor, and I represent them now civilly. I am very, very passionate about that. But you have to really look at the whole set of circumstances and ask yourself, let's take what she's saying to be true. What were your other options? Did she go to the police? Did she, try to get her out of that situation that day or on other days? What did she do to try to stop this or get out of the circumstance, short of tying him up, seemingly strangle him if the evidence is in fact correct, and kill him? You know, there were other options there. Mm-hmm. And this just doesn't hold water. And we should also remember, Julie, that her story on that has changed dramatically depending on when she's being asked and who's asking her. First, she didn't do that at all. He tied himself up. Then she tied him up, but only at his request. None of that holds water.
Right, right. And we're not talking about a case of self-defense, a justifiable homicide. That's nothing that we're dealing with here. Excellent points, Andrea. Thank you for that. I want to play a clip of the very emotional victim impact statements that were delivered at her sentencing. Let's watch.
State would publish State's Exhibit number 1. This is...
On the night that he died, on the night that he was killed, on February 15th of 2020, he was bound to a chair. We have a video of that. And by the way, Judge, it's a video this defendant deleted from her phone before she called 911. That speaks volumes about her state of mind and what she was intending to do that night. She also took a second step, and that is that she took some of those bindings, the tape, and other evidence of the crime and hid it behind a washer and a dryer in their apartment in an attempt to conceal what had happened.
Ms. Park also comes before the court today as a victim of domestic violence. Violence that invaded her entire relationship with Mr. Nam since 2012. It was physically abusive, it was psychologically coercive, and it was isolating. Ms. Park's status as a battered woman is an essential component, we think, for this court to evaluate. We ask the court to look at the whole of Ms. Park. She's 45 years old. She has no criminal history. She has a master's degree. She has a PhD. She was a professor.
And she's a killer. She is, and she's going to prison for 10 years. Andrea, final thoughts on how this woman's going to do in prison?
You know, I don't think she's going to do well. We can see that she is very manipulative. She, you know, maybe that'll make her do okay with her peers, but I think she's got a long road ahead of her, Julie.
I'm with you. Andrea Lewis, great having you on the show this morning. Come back again soon. Please take good care.
Thank you.